everyone. So today I'm going to show you how to answer question number 4 on page 7. So this is a question where you have to choose from the sentences A to F, and then from there you have to fit the sentence into the gaps from number 1 to 5 in the text. Okay, now first let's look at the first gap in the first paragraph. So the first gap is the one that you can see on the first paragraph, number 1 there. So in order for you to know what is the correct sentence to be fit into that sentence or that gap, you have to look at the sentence before and after the gap. So let's say the sentence before the gap is, you have like the first one, you have for example number 1. So the sentence before the gap is, you have the word however. Okay, you have the word however, right? However, those days. Okay, please forgive my my handwriting in this board because I think the pen is not working. So based on that, you have to identify the sentence. Okay, so you have the sentence before the gap is, however, those days are long gone. Okay, are long gone. Okay, so this is the sentence before the gap. Okay, and then the sentence after the gap is, you have for example, but. Okay, but despite. Okay, despite until the sentence where you have like clean and clear. So but despite this change, many teenagers believe that their parents, and more particularly their mothers, are the only ones who should pick up, tidy, wash, clean and clear. Okay, so this is the sentence after the gap. Okay, so then in the middle we have the gap. Let's say this is the gap. Okay, for number 1. Okay, so now after you have identified these two sentences, you look at the choices of answers from question number 4, either A to F. Okay, we are going to find the clue. Okay, the clue that might be appropriate to include in this gap. Okay, for example, the sentence before the gap is, however, those days are long gone. So they are talking about days where it's no longer being practiced now. Okay, and then the sentence after the gap, despite this change, many teenagers believe that their parents, and more particularly their mothers. So they are talking about mothers, parents, and they're talking about the days. That means the practice that has been done before, but no longer now. Okay, so the clue here for you to look at is about maybe most probably about women. Okay, and about the days. Okay, the practice. Okay, so if you look at the answer, the choices from A to F, okay, the one that is close to these two sentences is at D. Okay, you look at D. So for D, it says that nowadays women have jobs and successful careers, leaving them little time to deal with the large number of tasks that a household requires. So this is the one that is very close to the sentence before and after the gap. So with that, so this is the sentence that should be in the middle of these two sentences. That is D. Okay, so for number 1, for the first gap, number 1, the correct sentence that we should choose is D. Okay, so that is for number 1. Okay, now I'm going to show you another example on how you can answer the question on page 7, question number 4. Okay, now let's look at number 2 in paragraph 2. Okay, for question number 2, the sentence before the gap. Okay, we have the sentence before the gap. Okay, this is question number 2. Okay, question number 2. So the sentence before the gap is, even. Okay, start with the word even so. Okay, even so. And then teenagers. Okay, even so, teenagers. should be careful. Okay, should be careful. You can also refer to your textbook, okay, because my handwriting here is very bad. Okay, because the pen, as I told you, should be careful not to make extra work. Not to make extra work. Okay, not to make extra work. Okay, this is the sentence before the gap. Then you have the gap here, number 2, and then the sentence after the gap is the truth. Okay, the truth is that no one. Okay, is that no one until no one is too busy to do these simple chores, and anyone claiming otherwise is probably just being lazy. Until the word lazy there. So here from these two sentences, okay, you know that this paragraph talks about teenagers doing extra work, the sentence before, and then teenagers that saying that they are claiming that they are just being lazy. So now we are going to look at the choices of answers from question number 4 from A to F. So just now we have completed number 1, D. So you can disregard D. So you look at either A, B, C or E and F. Okay. So from A, B, C, E and F, which of the sentence that you think is they talk about teenagers doing some work? Okay. So from the choices, you can see that sentence A is the one that is very close to these two sentences. Okay, sentence A says that what this means is that they should keep their room tidy, leave bathroom clean, pick up after themselves, and wash their dishes once in a while. So they here is actually referred to the teenagers. So sentence A is the one that is fit into the gap for number 2. Okay, so that is how we choose the correct sentence to be fit into number 2, where we have to refer to the sentence before and after the gap. Okay, okay, now welcome back. So I'm going to show you another example for question number 4. So we will do question 3 for the gap. Okay, let's look at question 3 or paragraph 3, and the gap is in the middle or towards the end of that paragraph. So the sentence before the gap, we have a sentence like Stillwell went on strike there and then stay on strike for 6 days. So this is the sentence before the gap. Stillwell, Stillwell. Okay, so Stillwell is the mother. Stillwell is the mother. So Stillwell went on strike. Okay, went on strike until the last sentence, which is went on strike for 6 days. So until 6 days. Okay. So this is the sentence before the gap. Okay. Then you have the gap, number 3. And then the sentence after the gap, which is incredibly. Okay. Incredibly. They didn't even notice what was happening until until day 3 of the strike. So they didn't even notice until they didn't even notice until strike. Okay, so this is actually talks about the mother who went on strike because the children do not want to do their chores at home. So for the gap, so we are going to look at the choices again. So as usual, we already did number 1 and 2, so D and A is already out from the list, so you just ignore A and D. So we look at the other choices like B, C, E and F. Okay, so we are going to look for clues about the mother who went on strike, okay, for 6 days and so on. So it's the sentence that should be in the gap should be something discuss or talk about mother. Okay, let's look at B. B is about she asked her girl to sign contract, outline chores. So this is not about contract. So B is also out. And then C talks about her daughter's complaint about the disgusting house. This one also talk about the complaints, not about she went on strike. So B and C is also out. Then we look at E and F. Okay, E Interestingly, these are the main reason parents give for not pressing their children. So this is also not talking about doing chores or talking about she went on strike. So left us with F. So F, okay, let's look at F. She didn't actually tell her children. She just stopped doing the chores. Okay, so stop doing here means she went on strike. Okay, strike means you stop doing something, you don't want to continue doing what you always do. So this is the appropriate sentence to be filled into paragraph 3 or question number 3. Okay, so I think I've already discussed 3 questions. So for number 4 and 5, I will ask you to practice looking for another 2 sentences to fit into number 4 and 5. And remember, there is one extra sentence which you do not need to use. So you are given 6 answers, but you only need 5 to fit in the sentences. Okay, so remember, one sentence is not to be used for the answers to fill in the gap. Okay, so I hope you can do the other 2 questions on your own, and then after this I'll give you the answers. Okay, thank you.